Let's see, man. I'll show you some of the good right here. I post some stuff to my X profile. Like I've got a couple of places called Chirac and Montaigne, and then I've got some like cybernetic drones that I've designed. Heavy munitions drone, a couple of power thirst, uh, ghost, kind of like that. I've got some NATO Speedwulfs, AI generated boats. I would say like that is solar system gravitational photonic informational. Now I'll say this. Let's say go back at the top, right? Apply out. Hit that little grok button on the side. I'm just gonna think about stuff. I'm gonna type something in. I want to simulate RPG battle between 3 NATO Speedwulf boats and some power thirst drones on back, and just 20 posts for this. And it's on the Chirac Port Montaigne choke point. Okay. And teach me about waterway sailing as I go. Training battle. Cool. Against one like Russian destroyer. One Russian destroyer. So, gonna teach me a little bit. We're in this Chirac Port Montaigne choke point, and I want to get trained a little bit. So we're having a Montaigne choke point skirmish in the port of Chirac, Caspian Sea. Is a narrow strategic waterway choke point opposite the Republic of Montaigne. The channel here is constricted. Think of a fictionalized narrow strait with limited maneuver room. Strong currents possible from river inflows and shallow hazards near the port approaches. We're just training right now. We really need to get some strategy and tactics going on every single time. We have 3 times Speedwulf class fast patrol boats. High speed, agile, 40-50 knots top speed, low draft for shallow ops, armed with missiles, guns, and carrying power thrust drones. Mean fueled, over the top, high energy UAV swarms for recon strikes. Mission is training interdiction of post transit near Chirac port facilities. There's a 1X Russian destroyer, a Caspian flotilla style, larger corvette frigate analog with guns, missiles. Oh, it's got some stuff, CIWS and a helicopter. Heavier armor firepower, but less agile in tight waters. It's a training battle. Okay, low lethality sim, focus on tactics, decisions, and learning. I'm going to narrate the rounds based on my inputs, roll dice mentally, or describe actions, because not too much randomness here, okay? Waterway sailing lesson 1, choke point basics. In narrow waterways like this Montaigne choke, similar to real ones like Hormuz or Malacca, maneuverability is king. Large ships, destroyers, struggle with tight turns, currents, and traffic. Small, fast boats excel. Use speed for hit and run. Shallows for cover and drones for standoff. Always monitor currents, tides, Caspian has wind-driven ones, depth and surroundings. Avoid grounding near ports. Traffic rules. We got round one. We got contact. Your 3 Speedwulfs, call signs: Wolf 1, Wolf 2, Wolf 3. Exit Rockport, breakwater at dawn. Calm seas, light wind from the Montaigne side. Russian destroyer detected 8 kilometers out, patrolling the choke. It's turning broadside. Radar's active. So it's gonna say, I'm gonna ask. I always think gotta exercise this. What's the difference between strategy, tactics, and objectives and mission? That's 4 things. 4 things. Especially in this scenario. It's a scenario, so there should be a mission, should be objectives, strategy, and tactics. Strategy, tactics, objectives, and mission are the 4 core building blocks of any military or RPG training operation. Here's the clear difference. 1, the mission is the overall purpose of what we're doing. The why in one clear sentence. What must be accomplished? The objectives are the specific, and here's the measurable goals that achieve the mission. These are the checkpoints or sub goals. What exact results do we need? Like objective 1 might be launch power thrust drone swarm and achieve visual identification of the destroyer. Strategy, or this is a high level plan, is the big picture approach of how you'll achieve the objectives and mission. I'm gonna ask, do we need to use sailing techniques? Is there something called cutting? I can't remember. I'm not really a sailor or army or anything like that. Yes, we use adapted sailing seamanship techniques, even for powered fast patrol boats like the Speedwulfs. Power boats don't rely on wind for propulsion, no sails to trim, but core waterway navigation and boat handling principles still apply, especially in a confined choke point like Montaigne Strait near Rockport. These include reading currents and wind for free speed boots or drift control, maneuvering in tight spaces, collision avoidance, waves, sea state heads. There's something called cutting. Yes, several relevant meanings: cutting corners, cutting through waves, cutting the current. That's not what I was thinking about. Is where you zigzag forward in the wind. What is that? Does Grok even know? Tacking. Quick sailing lesson on tacking. Yes. Tacking is the classic zigzag technique sailboats use to sail into or against the wind. You sail at roughly 45 degrees to the wind on one side, port tack or starboard tack, and then turn the bow through the wind coming about and switch to the opposite 45-degree angle. This creates a series of zigs and zags that lets you make forward progress even when the wind is blowing straight at you. Without tacking, a sailboat cannot go directly over. So in terms of tacking, windward equals side the wind is coming from. Leeward equals side the wind is blowing toward. Point of sail, your angle relative to the wind. Even though your Speedwulf boats are powered, the concept still matters in training. They can be simulated courses to evade radar locks, missiles, or gunfire. Cool. Okay, cool. Let's go back to training battle. Round 1 was whatever. Round 2, Montaigne choke point. Your 3 Speedwulfs are 5.5 kilometers from the Russian destroyer. Light wind is blowing from the Montaigne side, creating a 1 to 1.5 knot cross current push forward the port shallows. The enemy helicopter is painting you with target radar. The destroyer has turned slightly to bring its forward gun and missile launchers to bear. Training sim rules. Hits are scored electronically, no real damage. We're going to zigzag or tack in a powered craft. In confined waters like this choke point, attacking style zigzag at high speed lets you present a harder target, constantly changing bearing. Use the current wind for micro boost on each leg. Stay in the shallows longer without grounding. The destroyer enemy action fires a training missile salvo and begins a slow turn to block the channel. At CIWS is tracking your possible drone launch vectors. Your force status, all 3 Speedwulfs at full readiness. Power thrust drones humming on the racks. Energy levels over 9,000. Give me your tactics using the concept we covered. Let's cut waves to sail head on towards the Rooskie. Drone launch and cover 6 at 3 kilometers. How about that? So my strategy was I want to cut waves to sail head on towards the Rooskie, so you don't have as much to hit. Drone launch and cover 6 at 3 kilometers. Tactics received and executed. Waterway sailing technique, cutting waves head on. Cutting waves mean angling your bow to slice through the waves at 30 to 45 degrees rather than slamming straight into them or taking them on the beam. For power boats like Speedwulfs on a choke point, it reduces pounding, hitting directly at the enemy head on. It's so simple. While cutting waves is aggressive, it closes range fast, but makes you a clearer target. Good for drone supported rushes, risky without covering fire. In the Montaigne choke, light chop plus current gives you a small speed boost on the final leg. Round 3, all 3 Speedwulfs go to full power, 48 knots, and adopt the tight arrowhead formation. You cut waves head on, bow slicing cleanly through the 0.8 meter chop, closing the range rapidly. And we ripple launch 18 power thrust drones, 6 per boat. The hyper-caffeinated swarm forms a forward screen and splits. Half for direct attack, half orbiting at 3 kilometers to provide persistent cover, recon plus electronic warfare jamming, plus simulated anti-missile distraction, maximum overdrive. Successes: the head-on rush gives excellent stability, maintain speed and fire control. They reach 3 kilometers in under 90 seconds. They overwhelm the destroyer CIWS tracking. So yeah, it'd be hard to track 16 drones. Enemy helo is forced to break orbit, evade 4 aggressive power thrusters, retreats 2 kilometers north. You close to 2.8 kilometers while the Russian destroyer is still lumbering through its turn in the deeper channel center. And it fires full training broadside, 130mm gun plus anti-ship missiles. Because your head-on is zigzagging slightly while cutting waves, most rounds fall short or wide. However, one simulated missile gets through the drone screen and strikes Wolf 3. 35% speed loss, port engine offline. It drops, but still combat effective. I'm gonna like pull half drones back for starboard landing. Other half full speed towards toward Rooskie. Drop main payload. Drop main. Half of those drop main payload and fire 2 rockets in hull. Okay. Speedwulf's position head on again in formation. Then next round drone swap and strike. Same. Tactics received and executed. Waterway sailing technique. Starboard recovery while underway. Recovering drones or small UAVs on a fast-moving boat is advanced seamanship. Starboard landing is preferred in many navies because it keeps the pilot, helmsman on the left port side with better visibility of the approach. You slow slightly or use wave cutting at a stable angle to create a smoother lay, sheltered side. In the montane, chokes, light chop, you can use the current to steady the boat like a natural stabilizer. Real world parallel. Modern littoral boats practice snatch recovery or net arrestor systems for drones at 20 to 30 knots. Risk collision or drone loss if timing is off. Round 4 montane choke point execution. Wolf 1, Wolf 2, and damaged Wolf 3 were formed into a tight head-on arrowhead formation. On the 11 active power thrust drones, half recalled, the other half screen forward at full speed. Half of those execute a terminal dive, drop main payload, energy, and ripple fire. 2 rockets each into the destroyer's hull waterline. Get success head-on formation plus wave cutting. Keeps your boat stable and hard to hit. You close to 1.4 kilometers. Attacking drones score big. 2 direct payload drops plus 6 rockets slam the destroyer's port hull and superstructure. Enemy speed drops 40%. Recall drones execute textbook starboard landings. All but one successfully recovered. Wolf 3 uses recovery pods to jury rig its port engine. It remains disciplined despite the enemy's return fire. The head-on approach plus active drone screen limits hits. However, 2 simulated shells strike Wolf 2 with minor flooding. The helo attempts to re-engage but is chased off again by your orbiting cover drones. The destroyer begins a slow emergency turn to port. trying to open the range and bring undamaged starboard weapons online. But the narrow choke and its reduced speed make the maneuver sluggish. 1.1 kilometers and still closing. All three Speedwulfs head on, cutting waves cleanly. Wolf 1 and Wolf 3 nearly full strength. Wolf 2 battered but aggressive. We got 9 recovered drones, rearmed and ready for drone swap and strike same next round. 1 lightly damaged. And I'm gonna say refined tactics for final strike. I need some help on this. It's a refined plan that I'm gonna just kind of go forth on final round 5 in the Montaigne choke point. The drone strikes land hard. The zigzag plus current boost lets the formation cross the T beautifully at 450 meters. All Speedwulfs now rake the enemy's length with simulated deck guns, while only its forward turret can reply ineffectively. 1 shell clips Wolf 1, minor training damage, reduced sensors. The Russian destroyer activates its training, stricken beacon, simulating mission kill. It begins a slow withdrawal towards deeper Montaigne waters. Force status: all 3 Speedwulfs successfully transit the choke point past the enemy position. Minor cumulative damage across the group, and we're going to then circle and anchor at port for repairs. Post-combat maneuver executed. Cool. Debrief and recovery phase, port of Chirac. Your execution: with the Russian destroyer withdrawing north, your 3 Speedwulfs ease out of combat formation. You execute a wide counterclockwise circle at 18 knots around the outer buoy field, allowing Wolf 2 and Wolf 1 crews to inspect battle damage visually, while Wolf 3 launches its last drone for a quick overflight of the anchorage area. Cool beans, man. Circling phase perfectly executed. Anchoring. Quick alongside berth at Pier 4. Starboard side to the quay for easy crane access. And minor repairs begin immediately. Full mission success. Full mission success.